Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new entitled people content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first story is titled "Client Gets a Full Refund, Still Insists to Use My Work and Threatens with a Lawsuit if I Take It Down." This is going to be a very wild ride. In my 5 years as a freelancer, I have never experienced such a level of audacity. I initially considered posting the chat history, but I think it's easier to follow as a text version. So here's what happened. A few weeks ago I had a client on one of the biggest freelancer platforms. Instead of contacting me in advance for a briefing, he ordered directly. His order description already raised some red flags because he sent along videos of his competitors and titled them "crappy." That's not normally how a serious businessman works. This was, how could it be otherwise, an entrepreneur who wants to conquer the world of metaverse with his innovative idea. His company works with credit cards and payment transactions. Read on to find out what this guy is all about, and then imagine that he takes care of your credit card and customer support. I have many gigs that are already going well and are super rated. However, this was my first customer of a new gig that I put a lot of effort into. And he also got some good reviews as a client, which is not super meaningful to be honest. Sellers rate clients with 5 most of the time, even if they had a bad experience. But despite the red flags, I wanted to do my best and get a good review and to get my gig rolling. I sent him a script with all the details as well as the voiceover. And he confirmed everything. So I spent about half a week working on an animated explainer video for his business. I delivered a piece of work that I was proud of and what was also later described by the Freelancer platform's customer support of very high quality, after they looked at the case. The client, however, contacted me the very next day and was not very pleased. He insulted the work, not maliciously, but very unprofessionally, and didn't seem satisfied at all. At the same time, he managed not even to define what exactly was the problem. He didn't say, "I want to change something at second 038. But the graphic looks too old, watch the video and you'll see what doesn't fit." He was apparently looking for a completely different animation style, which I don't offer. He also claimed that my portfolio was looking much more professional than what he got. Which is simply a lie. The red flags were now raised to the horizon. Normally, I never offer refunds. I get paid for my work when I have delivered what was agreed upon. But I'd rather cancel the order now, instead of having to deal with 2 weeks of nonsense revisions and an unfriendly client who can't even say what exactly it is he doesn't like, only to still end up with a bad review in the end. So I offered him a refund and pointed out that after a cancellation he of course has no rights to the script, visuals, sound or music. This was customized content and licensed content from Envato, Music, SFX, whose license is only valid after successful project completion and payment as stated on my page. Wordlessly he accepted it and got his money back. Fast forward a week. I frequently check the websites and channels of cancelled projects to make sure they don't use my work after all. And it came as it had to come. Of course, he uploaded the video and now used it commercially to promote his company. Was I being unclear? I immediately wrote him and explained that he was using the video illegally. What were his thoughts? Get the money back and still get to keep and use the work. That's when he completely lost his mind. He started spamming me that he will not accept such false accusations. After all, he had paid for the first version of the video, but since I was so lazy and decided to give him the money back, that was not his problem. He still has the rights to use it. I explained to him, even with screenshots of the terms of service, our chat history and logical arguments, that this makes absolutely no sense and that he is violating the terms of use of multiple platforms. At this point I have already reported this to customer support as well as Envato and filed a DMCA strike against the YouTube video he uploaded. He went totally mental and said that he would sue me for any loss of his business because of it. And he will let anybody on the internet know how bad my customer service is. Sue for the unlawful use of a video you do not own by right? I told him I was looking forward to it and would like to see the lawyer that takes this case. I told him I was ending the conversation and taking further action from here. After that, I blocked him. YouTube actually responded very quickly. Within 2 hours, the video was deleted. Suddenly I received a new order. It was him, of course, who now tried it a bit friendlier, via a forbidden second account. As a sign of his goodwill, he now wants to buy the license. Let's act professional. I don't know if he actually knows that he's in the wrong, but my guess is he was only willing to pay me because he probably realized that I can take down his video. The dude had the audacity and ordered a gig that wasn't even worth half as much as the original order while making it look like he does me a favor. So now he demanded the license rights for less than half, and in addition he wants to leave me a super nice and sincere review afterwards, of course, smiley face. How could I refuse that generous offer? I told him that I don't want to work with him now or in the future and contacted the customer support again to cancel the order. He then stated, "Good. So for the legal case, here's the proof. You don't want to solve the problem at all. There is no problem. You got a refund. You do not own the video. I do. And I cannot be forced to work with you or accept your money. Goodbye." He went on and contacted the customer support to tell his side of the story. He lied about pretty much everything. Told them I cancelled the order without his permission, which is technically impossible. Clients do have to manually accept a cancellation, they can even decline it. It's literally visible to anybody in the order. Support contacted me and asked what happened with this guy who seems to have a breakdown. I explained them everything with proof of the conversation. The customer support then cancelled this order as well. They were very helpful. However, to this day, this man is free to do business on the platform. I looked at his profile again and saw that he leaves very bad reviews to other sellers and accuses them of something similar to what he did to me. An absolute psychopath and narcissist. Just yesterday I had to strike the video again. This time he uploaded it to Vimeo thinking he can get around the YouTube strike. If he keeps trying, I will take his entire company page offline via DMCA request. Maybe a bit childish, but I have now made it my life's work. This dude usually seems to get away with it. This time he got the wrong guy. If you have any other ideas about what to do in cases like this, feel free to share them. I'd appreciate it. I have a feeling that this isn't the end of the story. The next story is titled "I Don't Care Who You Are, You Can't Park in My Spot." I am a paramedic in a place that has some HOAs and apartment complexes. We hate responding to the apartment complexes because there is nothing but assigned parking and no fire zones. Basically, if we can't find a space to fit in, we have to block the road. My agency also uses first responder vehicles and ambulances. The first responder, as implied, usually arrives first, so we do our best to leave room for the ambulance to fit in. We get a call at the apartment complex I am in, the first responder. As I pull up to the address, by some miracle there is a spot only 2 apartments away. Great, I can leave the road clear for the ambulance. As soon as I park out comes this guy screaming I can't park there. I do the "Are you serious" look, and just say medical emergency. He says he doesn't care, I can't park there. Keep in mind my vehicle has enough lights to make a Xmas tree jealous. I just grab my stuff, lock the vehicle and keep going. He is screaming he is going to call the cops. I tell him they are already on the way, they respond to medical emergencies. Cop gets there while I am in with the patient and tells him basically to pound salt. The cop enters the apartment and then this guy really goes full-blown entitled. He enters the apartment, comes into the room where I am treating the patient. He starts ranting and raving how I have to move my vehicle. I look at the cop and say, "Get him out of here." The cop then seals his fate. She asks the patient if she wants this person removed from the apartment and did she ever give consent for him to enter. The patient's response, "Get him the duck out. He's trespassing." Boom, the all clear. The cop gives him one last chance and tells him to leave or he will be arrested. He doubles down, "I am on the wallboard, I can go where I please." At this point backup is called. The cop at least manhandles him out of the room. The ambulance arrives with PD backup and they get him out of the apartment so we can safely remove the patient. Not entirely sure what happened next as I was in the back of the ambulance, but when I got out one of the officers approaches and says, "Sorry, but we need another bus." We had to tase him, policy for PD, as if they tase someone they have to be transported to the hospital by ambulance to the hospital, as the taser spikes have to be surgically removed due to the barbs on them. Wait for the second ambulance, they take him, I go back in service. Found out a few weeks later he was charged with trespassing, assaulting an officer, resisting arrest, interference with government administration, aka interfering with the scene of an emergency. All over a parking space that I would have been in for all of 20 minutes if he hadn't created problems. The next story is titled Close Friend and His Fiancée Throw Tantrum When I Don't Do Work for Their Wedding for Free. Please don't use this story, it's just for this subreddit. A few years ago, a very close friend of both me and my husband was about to get married. He and his now wife were about to get married. My husband was the best man, and the groom wanted some big fancy bachelor party in Vegas, which is very far away and OBV expensive. Husband obliged and tried to make it a fun trip, even though money wasn't flush. We could afford some stuff, but dropping thousands of dollars on someone else's party was a bit excessive for us. At this point, it's worth mentioning that I'm a professional calligrapher. A few months before the wedding, the bride texts me and asks if I'll letter all the chalkboard signs for the wedding. I have a firm policy that I don't do my work skills for free, but I'll often give sweetheart rates to my friends and family if I want, or I'll find another way to be helpful. I had even offered months before to do custom wax seals for their invitations, but they ended up getting crappy cheap plastic stick-on seals instead of taking me up on my offer. NGL, after this fight, I cackled like a gremlin when they arrived in the mail and were all kinds of chewed up and looked like garbage. Anyway, I responded to her saying I'd be happy to do it and we could discuss my rates to figure out something that worked for their budget. I also suggested an alternative, offering to connect them with a letterer in their city with the understanding that I'd cover the costs, as a gift. My friend, the groom, got all kinds of pissy with me, and I know the bride was as well, but she wasn't the one directly addressing me. Basically, they took it as a personal insult that I said no. The groom then texted me saying that he's disappointed I would do this considering how much time and money he sunk into my wedding. To my knowledge, he bought a suit as a groomsman and helped my husband get ready, bought a gift, the usual stuff. As far as I know, he didn't go above and beyond. The next story is titled Holiday Art Commission Story. I've never posted here before, but I've been mulling over a recent commission that's still stuck in my craw and thought this might be the right place to vent it out. Please excuse my poor storytelling skills. TLDR. Family member requests unpaid art as a gift. Artist spends exorbitant amount of time on the piece only to have it refused for not being good enough. So let's get into this. I'm an artist who's slowly trying to start up a small business doing what I love and producing art. I mostly focus on anime and comic book style art, so realism is a struggle for me. 1. Aside from my sister, I don't know many artists, and my family and friends can be a bit unrealistic in their view of how long and arduous the process of creating the final product can be. 2. A close relative came to me last month and told me about a commemorative portrait they saw, and how good of a gift it would be for their mother. 3. I agreed it was a good idea and told some ways they might be able to achieve a similar effect on their own. They slowly convinced me that they weren't very tech-savvy and that if it was so easy I should be able to just do it for them. I'm not currently working on any commissions, and although my mental health has been on a steep decline, I eventually caved and agreed. Like I said, they're a very close relative and to disappoint them would cause a lot of problems for me, and generally feel really bad. So wanting to please them, I reluctantly jumped into the project. All throughout the project I had minor problems, but things were going okay for the most part. I checked in with them periodically to give updates and ask their opinion on the piece. All throughout they kept being pretty distant and not wanting to be involved, just saying that, whatever you do should be fine. You should be able to just throw something together. That is until closer to the end of the project. They began asking about if it was done yet and pushing for it to be completed sooner. So feeling antsy and panicked, not wanting to cause problems, I completed the piece in the shorter time frame, despite my saying that it wasn't done and needed more work. They again told me I should just be able to throw something together and that it really isn't that big of a project, asking why it was taking how long. To be clear, I was painting a portrait of two people whose photos I had to personally acquire through hours of research, then further hours of editing to even have a usable reference. Then I needed to color block out a more realistic classical art style that I am not at all comfortable with. It's well known, and I even reminded them that I am in no way, shape or form a classical artist. Anyway, all in all I spend about 20 hours total on this portrait piece, and when I finally showed them the final product they just said, "Oh, that looks really goofy. Yeah, I don't want that." They asked me to see the edited reference picture I put together and said that it looked much better and that they just wanted that instead. After 20 hours of work and stress, I just wanted to cry at how nonchalantly they brushed it off. In my head I was screaming about how much work I'd put into the piece and just how long it took to put together, let alone all the stress in my life that was preventing me from taking commissions in the first place, only to have this long, unpaid project be casually tossed aside like it wasn't even anything. I messaged my sister about it, who's been a struggling artist for over a decade, and she just said, "Yeah, that sucks, man. People can be a-holes," and kind of shrugged. I know this isn't the most insidious or over-the-top choosing beggar story, and maybe I'm overreacting, but I just have to throw out there that if you know an artist, and they're willing to do work for free, please don't just shrug off their work. It's such a blow, and really crushes someone's spirit to really put their heart into a project to please you, just to have it smacked down with such indifference. The next story is titled iPhone 4. That's not enough. I want more free things. So, 1 year ago we went to a market with all the toys my niece didn't use anymore, plus other stuff in the house that we didn't need anymore. Everything was useful, nothing was broken, at most it could have a scratch. Things that didn't look nice enough to ask money for, were donated or went to the trash if it was useless. It was near Christmas, like now, and many people in our village had economic problems, so my mom had an idea. For every purchase that a family didn't matter the amount of money paid, the client could pick one free item from a bunch of stuff that my mom selected, until there was nothing left. She did put what she could. We weren't rich neither, but she was gifting some toys, vacuum cleaner, a pack of nice dishes, clothes, shoes, jewelry, a small tablet, an old iPhone, 2 paintings, and also some food, not old, of course, as rice, pasta, flour, olive oil. I know there were more things, but I can't remember everything. We did sell a lot of things, not everything, but it was a nice day, besides our Karen. Around 1 hour later of selling, a savage Karen appears. She bought a small pony toy, for €1. My mom asked her what free item she wanted, and Karen answered she wanted the iPhone, because her son loves Apple. When she had the iPhone, in his original box, the boy said something like, "Mom, that's an old iPhone. No one wants that. I told you I want the new one. It probably doesn't work." Just to make it clear, yes, it worked, perfectly. It was a iPhone 4, free, in perfect conditions. Free. Then, this conversation had place. Mom. "Oh, don't worry, the phone works perfectly, and it's on good conditions." Karen. "Well, my son doesn't like it. What other Apple things do you have?" Mom. "Sorry, but I just have that. If you wish, you can select another product and return the iPhone, maybe someone else would like having it." Karen. "My son wants something from Apple." Mom. "Well, you have the iPhone." Karen. "But it's old. He wants something from Apple that it's new, it's so difficult to understand?" Mom. "So, you bought a €1 toy, are getting a free phone with it, and still not happy? You really expect me to go buy the newest iPhone and come back here to gift it to you?" Karen. "Well, it's nearly Christmas, and the pandemic has worsened the economy. I thought you wanted to help. I can't buy that phone, but you can. You will get much money today selling these things." Mom. "I am sorry. I have more costumers, I don't have time for this. We have 3 options. Go with your iPhone 4 and the pony. Return the iPhone 4 and select another thing. Return the iPhone 4 and the pony, and I give your €1 back to you." Karen. "I think I didn't explain correctly myself. I still want to have this iPhone 4 for me." Mom. "Then, you have your free item, problem solved." Karen. "No, that's not enough. I want more free things." Silence. Everybody that was looking through our things stopped and looked at Karen. I couldn't believe it. Thanks God, the policewoman that was there also heard everything. She came to help, and Karen left, with her iPhone 4. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some bear emojis in the comments.